Yo, 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 what's going on, faithfuls? Your boy Mike is back. It's the Nothing But Niners crew, and we are here, baby. It's been a while, man. It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you without some Niners talk to step to. All right, guys, enough of that, enough of that. I'm happy to be back. I'm excited. I'm enthused right now, man. My man Nick is going to be back with me tonight and everything. He is here, man. I'm excited. We're going to talk some 49ers stuff. We have a special guest on, too, guys, a quarterback that was at the rookie trials for the 49ers. But before we get down to all that, you guys know the deal. We got to go through the formalities. We've been away, but some of the stuff just ain't going to change, all right? Guys, hit up the website. It is www.nothingbutniners.com. You're going to see a bunch of good articles written by a bunch of good people. You're going to see our social media pages there. We are Nothing But Nine, ERS, on Twitter and Snapchat. We are Nothing But Niners, spelled all the way out, on Facebook as well as Instagram. I am 49ers Mike _NF, and my man Nick is here, 49er Faithful 365. What's up, Nick? What's going on, baby?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Yo, man, excited to be back into the grind now, man. Grind starts again. You know, it's the off season. Putting in that work as always over here at Nothing But Niners. Just got back from vacation, so it was nice enjoying the Sunshine State and get to see the kiddos and do some parks and stuff. But other than that, man, I'm ready. I'm ready to talk Niners football again, man. I took my little break.
Yeah, man. So we had another rookie on before, Jordan Holland, the son of Coach Johnny Holland, and he gave us his story, man. He talked about being on 5 different leagues since leaving the college leagues. The college levels, and then getting his chance to try out for the team, and the 49ers, they had a lot of young people in there. And today we're going to talk to another one of those guys. This is a quarterback, and going into this thing, I wonder what goes through the mindset of a quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo was there. You know that they traded up and drafted another guy in the 3rd round in CJ Beathard. And then you heard about, I almost said BDN, but you heard about Nick Mullins coming in there and taking some shine also.
What?
What do you think the mindset is of a quarterback who is going into this camp? Like, he's got to be thinking to himself, man, this is a long shot, but what's his motivation? Like, he doesn't plan on getting the starting job. I think he knows he's not going to get the backup job. What do you think is pushing him towards just continuing in that mode?
Well, I mean, one, it's got to be just the love of the game. You work so hard to play this game. You try to stay healthy. You come out and you play this game. The biggest factor to me would be, I know that you're coming into this season with basically a mountain to climb, right? But these guys have climbed a mountain already, and they're climbing this mountain, and they're getting to this point that they are in their career. And to me, it's a stepping stone, right? So maybe you're not going to be the starter on this team, but you also can work your way, get people to look at you, get types of film out there. If you make it to a practice squad, that's even better, because of the fact that people can see what you have. So to me, I don't think it's so much about coming in as a starter, but it's about continuing that mountain climb and getting to that point of where you've been trying to since childhood dream. So to me, I don't think it sets them aside as saying, oh, I'm going to go in here and I got to compete against this, because the NFL is a competition every day. It doesn't matter whether you're the starter or you're the bottom guy on the totem pole. Even in the front office, it's still a competition. All these guys are still competing and working hard for their job. So I think that players welcome that competition level, and it only makes people better.
All right. Yeah, man. Good answer, man. Look at you, Nick. You came back all motivational and inspired and shit from Florida, man. I like it, man. I like it. Yeah, you want to get some good film out there. And, these teams, like it or not, they're connected. They know a lot of other players and people in organizations and front offices. And if you impress enough, maybe they'll be like, hey, you know what? We had this guy that's not going to make our roster, but I know you're looking for some depth at this position. Maybe check him out. The Broncos have been struggling and looking for quarterbacks. Maybe John Lynch uses that connection over there that he has with Elway and says, hey, man, look, I know you guys are looking for some guys at that position. This might be the guy for you. Maybe Layton's someone that you'd be interested in. So, yeah, I'm excited to talk about it, man. But Nick, man, let's take a step back, man. What has been your impressions of the 49ers offseason so far? There's not many rumors going on right now. We got a couple of guys that signed already. Is there anything that we want to touch on before we bring this guest in? You're on mute.
Yeah. So sorry. I appreciated the conversation that you had with Holland. That was a really good story. Things going on there. I just like this time of the year. A lot of people don't like it. I mean, it's not that I love it, but I like it because you get to see the excitement of these players coming back and trying to build on things that they didn't build on last year or the year before. The players coming back from injury, getting their chance to go and showcase what they have. A big shout out to the Sharks and the 49ers O line, man. I need to drink some beer with these guys. I gotta say it because the you can tell the camaraderie between this offensive line. You can tell the camaraderie between all these guys that are here now. You heard Joe Staley say, and I know it's not a big factor, but I want to talk about it a little bit because you heard Joe Staley say he's just excited to have the same 5 guys coming back this year. You've seen that the companionship that that McGlinchey and Staley had, and you still see it. And we were talking about a little while ago, maybe that it was just a front. Remember, we were talking about that being last season, but now that they're back at work and back at work ethics, it seems like that relationship has never busted. So I'm excited to see that. I'm excited. I mean, you saw Tomlinson out there, you saw Person out there, you saw McGlinchey, you saw Staley. You know, that whole front line. Even Richburg. So that's something that's exciting to me, seeing those guys.
I tell you what, man, Person almost didn't make it back to the team. I don't know if you remember, but they didn't extend him during the season. They let him go out and let him test free agency. That tells me that they were okay with him not coming back. I don't know why they were that confident, but they were. And I know that they've brought in some other linemen. They've signed some guys that we haven't done breaking news videos on, but stay tuned, guys. Make sure you have those alerts that maybe they'll be here on the show soon. But Person did something in all these video clips where they're all hyped up and everything and everyone's getting amped. He did something that really pissed me off. I'm not going to lie to you. It really, really pissed me off. So the part where they take McGlinchey's shirt over his head and they're pouring the beer on him, almost like a waterboarding thing, right? Everyone's like, yeah, yeah. Person takes his beer can and slams it on McGlinchey's face.
Yeah. He threw it down onto his face.
He slammed it on his face, man. I was like, what is going on? So, hey, you this close to getting cut, buddy. But listen, guys, I think we've wasted enough time. It is good to see the 49ers offensive line getting together like that. I think we've wasted enough time. We want to go ahead and introduce this guest, guys. So for those of you who are watching right now, the young man that we want to bring in, his name is Layton Rabb, okay? And he was one of the quarterbacks in our rookie minicamp. So I just sent him the link. He is ready. He's going to jump on here any second now. And guys, be kind to him. We're gonna have some fun with this young man. He's got a lot of good information over here, man. He's a young guy from Texas. You know how Texas is with their football, man. They don't play down there in Texas. So you got a guy who is competitive, a guy who has been in the mix of it all. And I can't wait to pick his brain to see how the rookie minicamp went, see what stood out to him and things like that, So it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Now, while we're waiting for him to get here, Nick, our quarterback room. I told you something today that I didn't expect to tell you, and I'll say it here. I think we're going to keep 7 wide receivers. So you know what? He's here. Never mind. We're gonna go ahead and jump into this here, man. Layton, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
All right. My name is Mike, and my partner over here, his name is Nick.
What's going on, Layton? Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate you.
Sir, thank y'all for having me.
No problem. All right. We won't try to take up a lot of your time. We appreciate you stopping in and checking us out. So we want to give you the floor first. So we've already introduced you, Layton Rabb. Now, we told everyone that you were with the 49ers during the rookie minicamp and things like that. So give us a little breakdown of yourself. Tell people who you are, and then we'll go ahead and dig into this a little bit more.
Right. So my name's Layton Rabb. I'm from Texas. I was born and raised here. I went to a small high school. Kind of just got overlooked in the recruiting process and ended up walking on to a Division II here in Texas called Midwestern State University. It's in Wichita Falls. I ended up being a 2-year starter. Set some school records. Went 18-3 as a starter. Was able to do some good things, and got noticed by a couple NFL teams, and so I was fortunate enough to get brought into rookie minicamp by the 49ers, and it was an awesome experience. So like I said, it's a long, windy road to get here, but it was definitely one that I definitely enjoy. And I couldn't ask for a better opportunity than to get there to the 49ers and have a rookie minicamp there.
Yeah, Layton, that's cool. That I saw you went to the same high school as your brother as well. You beat some of his records. How was that competition? Was that
yeah, sure. Obviously having an older brother, kind of you're raised in an environment of competition. You always want to try to do what he does and do it a little bit better. So, I definitely enjoyed, having him to look up to, and, he set the bar for me. And so, something I always, enjoyed was having him in front of me.
And before I move on to the next thing, did you ever bring that up at Thanksgiving dinner or anything? Like, I beat your school records this year at Lano High School.
Not really too much. I beat his alma mater twice as a starter, so I kind of hold that one over him more than anything.
Nice. Now let me ask you a question about this whole sibling rivalry thing. And I know it was obviously competitive; it's a lot of fun. But in your personal opinion, does the younger brother usually do better than the older brother, or is it the other way around? Just if you think about it throughout history and things like that, because I don't know if you're familiar, but the 49ers got this younger brother named Bosa, and there's a bigger brother named Bosa in the NFL right now. So I'm kind of hoping that you give us some good news here and tell us that the younger brother is going to be better than the bigger brother.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think, as a younger brother, you get to learn from your older brother's examples, what he did good and, what he could have done better. And so I definitely think, you have more opportunity to become a better player or to surpass what he does because, you've seen him follow his footsteps. So, you know what to expect and everything like that. So I definitely think there's an advantage to be the younger brother.
Awesome sauce, man. We've seen it throughout the NFL. Siblings and families and generations are going through it. So hopefully you guys can go ahead and kick this thing off, man, and get it going. I'm pulling for you, man. Now, give us a little bit about your experience here with the 49ers and what the rookie minicamp was like. Talk about your expectations versus what it really ended up being, because I can't imagine. I'm not going to lie. I can't imagine what it's like to go in there. My football career stopped my freshman year when I blew out my knee. That was it for me for football. So I don't have the even being in a college arena, other than going to support my younger brother over there. But tell me what it was like, what your expectations were. And then when you get there, how different it was and how quickly things were moving also.
It definitely was a pretty big jump for me just because, fortunately enough, I was in the same offense for 5 years. So, I grew comfortable in that offense and that terminology and everything. So, one of the biggest adjustments I'd say for me was to try to learn, the install for rookie minicamp, learning the offense, the verbiage, the formations, the concepts, calling the play in the huddle. In college, we just say a couple of words and that's all, we're ready to rock and roll. And, in the NFL, you got to sit in the huddle. You got to tell the offensive line, the receivers, running backs, and everything, what the play call is, what the, motions, the run play or the pass concept and the protection. So, that's one thing that I had to adjust to, but, I think I did a really good job of it. I was just picking up on the playbook. But, just coming in, the expectations were, just going to be there for 3 days and try to make the most out of it. When I got there, that's the only thing on my mind was, put my best foot forward and present myself in the best light that I could. So, like I said, I enjoyed it. I soaked it up. Every minute of it, was awesome. It was a great, everything was first class. I'm not going to lie, coming from a Division II school, the free Gatorades and peanut butter and jellies after practice were different. The cafeteria was, beyond, beyond my belief with everything they had, just anything you could have wanted, was at the facility and, those guys are very fortunate enough to, all they got to do is go home and sleep and then everything else they need is at the facility. So, I definitely enjoyed that part of it. Just to get a taste of what it's like, was pretty sweet.
Yeah. It's a big change. It's a big change. We've had Adrian Colbert and some other likes on here, and they say the same thing about cafeteria and how well the facility is, and it's a top-notch facility, and the way that just the coaches and players and everything, the way they keep everybody involved there, and the way that things go, which leads me into something else. You have a ton of awards in college. You got Harlan Hill nominee 2 times in 2017, 2018, AFCA All-American in 2018, Don Hanson All-American in 2018, D2 CCA All Super Region 4, 2018. Don Hanson Football Gazette All Super Region 4, 2018. J.W. Rollins LSC Offensive Player of the Year, All Lone Star Conference. Man, LSC Offensive Player of the Week in 6 times. Did any of that help you? Learning or winning any of those awards, did that help you in any ways of coming and in your confidence level and things like that going into the next phase of your career?
Right. It was definitely rewarding to get recognized by so many different organizations and votes and stuff like that. So I definitely felt I felt good about myself. I felt confident in my abilities that if I can produce at the highest level of Division II, then I think I can translate my talents into the professional leagues. And so it definitely helped boost your confidence a little bit. And but it also is a team award, and so I can't just sit here and claim all those that I did it by myself. So it's definitely a team achievement to get some of those awards. But like I said, it was definitely a confidence booster and something I'm very proud of.
Now, I know you said some of those were teams as well, but did any of those stand out to you the most? Meaning, did any of those mean the most to you as an individual player for individual progress moving through the college ranks?
I think being the Lone Star Conference Player of the Year, I think the Lone Star Conference is a very competitive conference, and we have, we had a guy get drafted in the 5th round to the Colts from, he played at Tarleton, which is our rival. They had 2 other guys get undrafted free agents. And there's, a couple other guys in the conference that got undrafted free agent opportunities. So, I think it's a really competitive conference. So, definitely getting that award, meant something to me for sure.
Sweet.
So I want to ask you about your mentality going into this whole thing, right? So, Jimmy Garoppolo has this big mega deal, and that the 49ers drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round a couple of seasons ago in C.J. Beathard, and then there's Nick Mullins, right? And I don't know if any of those guys were there. I don't think any of them qualified to be there. But what's your mindset like going into that? What are you hoping for to be, the most positive outcome that you can have out of all this? Now, obviously, oh my God, this guy, we got to bring him in here. We got to keep him. But what else is there? What are some of your goals when you go into a situation like this?
Right. So, obviously they're not looking for someone to come in and start right away. They got Jimmy and Nick and CJ. So, it's just as an opportunity to try to make an impression on the coaching staff that, maybe they should bring this guy in for OTAs and keep him around for camp and everything. So, just to try to make a good impression on the coaches, and like I said, it's kind of a situation where they're not looking for a guy to step in right away, but definitely putting your best foot forward and doing the best you can. So maybe in future reference, if someone goes down or anything like that, you can be that guy that there's like, well, we've worked him with him and minicamp and everything. So, we liked what he did there. Maybe we should bring him back in. So, that's something that you kind of think is like, if I can just make a good impression, maybe they'll remember me down the road or they, if another team calls and ask about me, they have good things to say. So, just stuff like that is, you just want to go there and do the best that you can so you can set yourself up for success in the future.
Absolutely. Before you joined us, I was just telling my buddy Nick here that, the 49ers in their front office have a really good relationship with other teams, such as the Broncos, for example. And the Broncos have been really looking for some quarterbacks over there. And I said, maybe if he's going out here and Layton, if he impresses, they might try to give John Elway a call and say, hey, buddy, this is a guy that you should keep your eye on and things like that. Now, how does it work when you go to join a mini camp? Do they call you? Do you call them and say, can I come out there? I mean, what was that process like? What was that part of it like?
Right. So, after the draft, I got quiet for an hour or 2. And then after that, they called me and pretty much, asked, if I had anything lined up, if I was signing anywhere or if not. And then, I told them no, and I hadn't had any offers yet. So they're like, well, we want to bring you out to rookie mini camp as a tryout basis. And so, I jumped all over that. And so that's kind of how, it worked out is, they called me and asked if I wanted to go. And so, of course, I was ready and willing to go. So it was pretty exciting.
Did you have any inkling of an idea that the 49ers and their staff were interested in you? Do you remember them being at any of the games or scouting any of the games or anything like that?
Yeah, I had kept some tabs on them, and they had kept some tabs on me. They stopped by the office during the fall season and watched some film, and then they went to the College Gridiron Showcase. They had a couple scouts there that I participated in, and then they were at one of the pro days I went to. I ended up doing 3 pro days, and they ended up being an Incarnate Word, and I just threw at that one, and so. I think I kind of refreshed their minds, like, oh, we should definitely, check in on this Layton guy again. After that workout. And so they kind of just texting me every now and then just to see how, what everything's going on with me and everything. So, I had a little inclination, but, like I said, I was pretty ecstatic when they called just because, it's such a hard organization to get into as the NFL. And then, just getting that one opportunity is, a lot to ask for. And, a lot of the guys don't get that opportunity. So, I was definitely pretty ecstatic when they called.
How pumped up were you? I mean, you were ecstatic, but what does your mind go through like after you get that phone call? So you go through the whole draft process. Your name wasn't called. Unfortunately, you're waiting for other offers and things like that. What is the mindset like after you receive a phone call like that? Like for the time leading up to when you have to get there, and then tell me what it was like walking through those doors for the first time.
Right. It's definitely, after the draft, when you're waiting for that call, you got a little anxiety, you're waiting for something to happen. Then after it happens, you're happy, but then you realize, it's a tryout basis and you got to go there and get to work. And so, that's really the only thing that's on my mind is, I need to be, in the best physical shape I can. I need to, review as much football as I can before I get there. And just, prepare yourself for, you got 3 days of a tryout to make your best impression. So that's really the only thing that was really on my mind is just, I can go there in 3 days and ball out and do the best I can. And that's my mindset. And then, once I got there, like you said, the facility was awesome. The atmosphere and the vibes of the place, everyone was, super helpful and willing to help you. And so that was, a really cool thing. No matter who you asked, it feels, Nick Bosa, if you're sitting next to him or you're sitting next to a tryout guy, you couldn't tell the difference, and everyone was happy to be there. And, everyone was, really friendly. And so it was an awesome experience, once you got there and everybody had the same mindset, they're there to compete and get better and show the coaches what you got. So it was definitely a cool atmosphere to be at.
Awesome. Again, everyone, we are joined right now by Layton Rabb, 49ers quarterback rookie tryout at minicamp here. And we don't want to take up too much more of your time. So let's get down to what happened on the field, man. I want to talk about some of your best moments of minicamp, man. How many plays or, give me an instance where something happened, even if it was in the classroom and play recall or something. I don't know what was going on. I'm not there. I've never been there. But give me something that, you walked away like, damn, I just nailed that. Like, give me a moment or two like that happened throughout this process.
Right. So the very first day that we were out there for practice, we had this play where, our first read is kind of a 6-yard sit by the tight end, and he's able to option off the defender. But, what we really wanted to hit was that through route by the tight end over the middle. So the very first day, I took my first option. I hit the tight end for 6 yards, but that through route came open. And so, the coaches harped on it. It's like, man, the intent of the play is to try to get that over route. So we came back the next practice. They gave me the same play, and I went through. Tight end was guarded. The through route, I was ready to throw that through route, but the safety made a good play and covered it, and I was able to work through my progression, come back to the backside, and hit the check down there. And so that was just good to feel like felt growth as a player. I learned from my mistake last time. Took the cheese, and then they tried to bait me in the second time of throwing that through route because they knew. They watched film and they realized it was open. The defense did, and so they were able to cover that. But then I was able to work back through in my progression, and I think that's one thing that quarterbacks have to be able to do is to not stare down receivers and not get stuck on throwing one route and go through the progression. So like I said, one thing that was cool is just learning the offense. Obviously one thing that in college, we had to say 3 words maybe to the offensive line. Like Ruger Lane it, and we were running the play. And so, being able to sit in the huddle and tell them a full play, and it's 12 words wrong. It's like a small paragraph and you're rattling off the play. And, that was cool for me because that was something I'd never done before. And so I was really, happy that I was able to pick up on it. And by the day 2, I had it down and I was able to sit in the huddle and look at everybody and tell them, what the play is and what their job is. So, that was another cool thing I'd say, is just, feeling growth as a player was pretty awesome.
All right, so I got a question for you. We all know that Kyle Shanahan is one of probably the most marked offensive geniuses in the game of football. What were your first impressions of the coach?
Yeah, we had a team meeting that night, and you can definitely feel the intensity and the intelligence from him for sure. When he got up there, he demanded everyone's attention, and it was definitely quiet, and everyone was locked in. But he's definitely a good coach, and he's surrounded himself with a lot of good coaches too. So it's definitely a coaching staff that has a lot of experience, and they got a lot of guys that are just now getting into coaching, like Wes Welker, so it was cool seeing guys like that, part of the staff that just got out of the league, and they're ready to make an impact on guys that are that used to be in their shoes. But yeah, Cal, I mean, he was definitely a great leader that you can tell already, just from being around him from the little that I was. But he's definitely the real deal for sure.
Now, Nick just asked you about the coach, and if we don't ask you about some of these rookie players that were out there that you got to interact with, the followers are going to kill us. So I gotta break the ice now. You talked about the first play and how the read was the tight end that was sitting. Was that tight end happen to be Caden Smith? Was it Caden? And if not, did you get to interact with him, and what did you think of him out there on the field?
Right. Yeah, I threw the first day when I threw it to him, it was Caden. And then I also threw a bunch of one-on-ones to him. I was throwing to the running backs and the tight ends. So I threw to him, several times during one-on-one, and he's a good-looking kid out there. He's got the size, he's got the hands, really strong hands. I can remember I threw him an out route, was kind of high and behind him, and he was able to contort his body and jump up there and grab the ball with the DB, trying to knock it off from him. So he's going to be a good player for sure. He looked really good out there in shorts and t-shirts.
Yeah, I'm like so impressed to see what this rookie class does this year. And the Niners are very well known for undrafted guys and tryout guys making this team. Like it's really it's one of the teams that, I mean, obviously I'm a huge Niners fan, but watching them so much, you can name guys like undrafted guys like Matt Breida. You could go down the list of guys who just came to try out. Jeff Wilson, Jr., who got playing time last year, just to name a few. What was it like throwing to what was your first impressions of Deebo Samuel or Jalen Hurd, of those guys, and how was it throwing to them? I mean, they're shifty guys. So was it more so separation getting open, or is it play design? It just in your eyes coming to this type of offense, this type of calls. I mean, I know you ran a lot of play action. I watched a little bit of your film today. Play action, a lot of quick drop or 3-step drops, get rid of the football in college, and that's kind of what Kyle Shanahan runs too. So did that help you? And then what was it like throwing to those type of receivers with quick separation and things like that?
Yeah, for sure. Deebo and Hurd are very explosive and twitchy. They run really crisp routes. Obviously, they both got strong hands. I didn't realize how big Hurd was until I got standing next to him, and he's a pretty good sized receiver. So I'm excited to see what he does this year for sure. I think they can use him in a lot of different ways. He's going to be a very versatile weapon for him. And then Deebo, obviously he's got the routes. He can run anything you ask him: comeback, slant, the glance, bang eight. I mean, anything, curls. I mean, he's gonna break you off at the top of the route. And then he's got really strong hands too. I think I threw a slant to him, and I threw it right out of his break, and he got his eyes there, and then the ball was on him, and he was able to squeeze it with his fingertips and make a pretty good catch too. So like I said, those guys are the real deal. It was fun throwing to them. I think I threw it to some pretty good receivers in college, but those guys are definitely at the next level for a reason. They were pretty smooth out there. So it was an awesome experience to throw to them.
Yeah, the tape I was watching on you, I mean, your receivers, and that's why it reminded me so much of our offense. Like I said, 3-step drops, get rid of the football. You had guys that were separating and getting open across the middle of the field a lot, dig routes and things like that. And just watching your tape, I'm like, wow, this really looks like a 49ers offense. And I know it's probably different. I mean, it's football altogether. But the way that your receivers and stuff were separating, and I was like, man, this guy's getting rid of the football really, really fast. And that's what we, when Jimmy Garoppolo is at his best, he does that. He gets rid of the football at his best. Most quarterbacks do. But I just wanted to see how you felt with. I know it's different terminology and stuff, and it's football all together. But watching you reminded me of this offense. Did you have that same type of familiarity going when you were running these plays?
Yeah, so I mean the route concepts were fairly similar. Obviously everything we did was under center there. At rookie minicamp, and everything I did from college was in the shotgun. So it's a little bit different. Trying to marry up the footwork with the pass concept. So that was something I had to adjust to. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's all football. And if you're gonna play at the next level, it should be something that comes easy. So I definitely think I got pretty adjusted well to it. But yeah, the concepts, were a lot fairly similar. There was definitely some that were new to me, but I really liked. And if I ever become a coach, I'm definitely going to implement those plays into my playbook. But there was definitely, like I said, that first practice where I threw that little check down to the tight end, that through route was there just like they drew it up. I just took the cheese and took the easy 6 yards instead of the home run. But like I said, I think it's going to be a pretty explosive offense. If they get guys clicking and everyone on the right page, I think it's definitely designed, for success for them.
All right. Again, everyone, we are talking with Layton Rabb here, quarterback at the 49ers rookie minicamp tryout here. A couple of more questions for you, then we're going to let you go, I promise. Give us a standout on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball throughout the camp, even if it was someone that wasn't drafted, just maybe a name that, stood out to you while you were going through this whole thing. Other than yourself, obviously. You obviously were the biggest star there. But other than yourself, give us a name on each side of the ball that stood out to you a lot.
I can't remember his name right now, but he played tight end for Wyoming, and he was they signed him as a free agent, undrafted free agent. Dang, I can't remember his name right now, but I remember, he had a spectacular one-handed catch during 7-on-7. He just kind of stuck his hand up there and snagged it. On the defense side of the ball, I wasn't really with them too much, besides, team and 7-on-7. But I remember seeing that Arkansas linebacker have a pretty good pass breakup on one of the plays, and I thought he looked really athletic, moving around in space out there. I think he was like the 5th round draft pick. I didn't catch his name.
Dre Greenlaw.
Yes, sir. That's him.
And the tight end was Tyree Mayfield.
Yeah, Mayfield. Yeah, yep. And he had that one-handed catch I thought was pretty spectacular, and he definitely made a name for himself off that one. And then what'd you say the linebacker's name was?
Dre Greenlaw.
Drew Greenwell. And then actually I remember in one of the meetings they actually said, you need to get to know him, and he's got a really cool story. And I remember I was sitting with a bunch of guys, and he was telling his story about when he was in college there in Arkansas. So he's not only a good player, but an awesome guy too. So it was pretty cool. Hearing that story and how he helped that girl and everything. So he's going to be a good player for him too.
Yeah, he came out with that story. He's like, I don't remember that, but then the girl called him and he remembered it. But like you said, that's just it just shows you to always do the right thing, obviously. All right, so I got a couple more questions about you. You ran zone read a lot. You could get out of the pocket well. You throw from all different angles. What is something in your game that you take into what makes you? I guess I could kind of say in those words, meaning you do zone read, you do shotgun, you worked under center now. You move. You're quite mobile. You do a lot of rush. You can rush the ball as well. I saw you had a decent amount of rushing yards. But the one thing that stood out to me was you could throw off balance. Your arm slots change different directions and stuff like that. Do you work on that kind of stuff? And what stands out to you most about you, and what makes you feel best about yourself as a quarterback?
Right. I definitely think that's, one of my assets is, being able to change my launch points, whether I got pressure in my face or I'm drifting off this way, or, I got people at my feet and I can't step into it, I can get the ball there, no problem. And then if, I got to change my arm angle, I definitely feel confident about that. So, being able to change launch points and trajectory points with my feet and my arm is definitely one thing I'd say that is fairly unique to me. I know there's a lot of guys that are able to do it now, and obviously Pat Mahomes is the master of it. But then one thing I take pride in is not taking negative plays, not throwing interceptions, not taking sacks, not checking the play into a blitz or anything like that. Putting your team in the best possible situation is something I take pride in. And I think I was able to prove that, throughout my career. I didn't throw very many interceptions, didn't take very many sacks. I think that's a key to winning ball games is to, not put your team into negative situations.
Yeah, I think you had a 5-to-1 career touchdown to interception ratio throughout your career, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you got to protect the football. I mean, you're where it starts, you know what I mean, as the quarterback. So you have to protect the football. So that's really good that you have that you understand that, because some players, they take the risks, you know what I mean? Like you said with that 6-down check, like the six yard, you took the cheese, but then you learned from it and you moved on from it. So it wasn't like it was something that held you back, and that probably shows from how you have a 5-to-1, ratio in college, because you were protecting the football and you go with the best and keep the ball moving and move the chains.
Yeah, for sure. We always said that, first down leads to touchdown. So, I mean, you don't have to take the deep ball every time. If you continue to move those chains, you're going to, wind up close to that end zone. We're going to punch it in. So that was definitely, a mindset that I've always had. And, is that, we take care of the ball. We win the turnover battle, then, we're going to win the game. So, that, those are key things that I think, any football coach will tell you, we got to win the turnover battle. You got to stay in front of the chains. We got to move the chains and score points. So, that's definitely something that I took pride in.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to hit you with 5 random questions. You answer as quickly as you can, okay? Ready? Right. Favorite Disney movie?
Favorite Disney movie? Oh, man, I'm going to have to say Lion King.
Yes, my man. All right. Favorite food?
Okay, I'm going to have to go a toss-up between French toast and then like a steak, like a medium rare steak.
That is Texas all day right there, guys. That is Texas right there. All right. All right. Favorite hobby other than sports? Or actually other than football. It can be another sport, but other than football.
I kind of play video games, but not much. I'd probably say just hanging out with my friends is probably, what I do the most besides play football.
PlayStation or Xbox?
I'm an Xbox guy.
Oh, man. We were so cool. We were so cool. All right. And if there was one thing you want everybody to know about yourself, if you want people to take one thing away from this interview here, what is that one thing?
I think it's just pursue your dreams. Don't give up on them. You never know how close you are to reaching your dreams. And, that's one thing that I've kind of taken pride, as a walk-on in college and was able to do a lot of great things, and it would have never happened if I would just gave up after high school and just accepted, that I didn't get a scholarship. So, I think, just to chase your dream and to do everything you can to accomplish it.
All right, Nick, man, anything else that you want to say with Layton here before we wrap this up with him?
We've already covered the 5 quick questions, but all right. Let's see. If you had to cook dinner for somebody, a girlfriend, a friend, whatever, what would your go-to meal be that you cook?
I'd probably hop on the grill and get some ribeyes or something if I'm really trying to impress. Get some ribeyes, maybe a sweet potato and green beans would probably be my go-to.
Sweet. Yeah, that's it for me, man. I'm all questioned out now.
All right, man, Layton, man, we really want to thank you so much for joining us. I know we went over a little bit on time here, but I appreciate everything that you've done. I want to encourage you to keep grinding out there, man. Like you said, you don't know how close you are to accomplishing your dreams. Don't give up. Keep grinding, man. And whatever opportunity is there, take it and do your best. And I'm telling you, man, good things are going to come for you, man. I like your charisma. I like your attitude on everything, your outlook on life. Continue to beat your older brother at everything you do. All right, man. But keep the family together. Be good with your friends and everything. We want to thank you again, man. We really, really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Tell Doug I said what's up, and we appreciate the help. All right.
Gotcha. Will do.
All right, man. You take it easy out there.
All right, y'all too.
I appreciate you.
Sure.
All right. Let's see here. Let's see if we can. All right, that gets him off of there. All right, Nick, man, that's it for the late interview, man. I really like this guy. I mean, he's smooth. He's a good talker and everything. He thinks quickly on his feet. Oh man,
I mean, I really liked it. Took a lot from it. You know, like he said, to always stay with your dreams. To you know, he was a walk-on in college. Could have gave up. You know, he said that at the end there. But I mean, overall, like he said, he adapted. There were things that that he wasn't used to. You know, playing under center, he had to adapt to things like that. Talk about his arm slots and things that he changes in direction. Uh, kind of hurts me that he's an Xbox guy, but you know that's all right. um, but other than that, man, it was a really good interview, and I'm pulling for this guy. You know, no matter where he ends up, if he stays here, somebody in the chat was saying you better be ready because CJ Beathard is going to get traded, so you better be ready. You know, and like I said, I don't wish bad on anybody, but I also wish good on all. So hopefully, you know, this young kid does really well. His career has been going uphill. Obviously, you've seen all the awards he won. I couldn't even stop saying them. There were so many. So it was definitely interesting, and I'm pulling for this kid for the practice squad, man. At least.
Yeah, me too, man. I hope the 49ers can, even if he doesn't land on our practice squad, refer him to someone else. You know, hopefully he put something out there that they saw that they liked. I liked how he talked about he went from, you know, the three play call, you know, the nomenclature and things like that to 12. And that speaks to his intelligence. You know, walking in there, you only got a couple of days at this. This mini camp and the tryout thing. This isn't something that goes on for a month. This is like 3-4 days or something like that. And to come in there on day two, you know, and you're comfortable in the huddle, he said, you know, calling the plays. Now, obviously, it's not the entire playbook and things like that. Shanahan wouldn't do anything. But the fact is, you go from, you know, the short, quick, you know, to, you know, Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Like it's a lot to do at one time. So, you know, yeah. I bet dollars to donuts that's going to impress the coaching staff that was there. And they're going to hopefully pass that on to someone else. Like I said, I know I mentioned specifically the Broncos, but there's other teams that are in need. The Dolphins, I don't know what the 49ers relationship is like with the Dolphins front office and things like that. Maybe even the Jaguars, you know, some other relationship that we know that they have. But hopefully they can help this young man get somewhere else, man. I'm really, you know me, man. Once someone comes on here, I start pulling for him hard, man. You know what I mean? It just kind of helps. I don't know, man, but I'm really pulling for the young man. He was awesome, man. It was a good get.
You know, and the thing, like I said, watching his film, watching him play, the way that he played, and I'm not going to say he's Jimmy Garoppolo back there, but the concept of the whole thing, of the way he was getting rid of the football, his footwork, running to the outside of the pocket, throwing off a back foot, changing arm angles, the type of offense he was running, it really looked like a 49ers offense. So if you guys get a chance, go watch it. It's Midwestern State University. Just look up Taylor or Layton Rabb, R-A-B-B. Look him up, follow some of the stuff, and just look, and then get back to us and let me know what you thought of Layton in those plays. Because, like I said, it really stood out to me. Quick release, throwing the ball to the receiver out of breaks, the ability to shift his weight, change his arm angles. The kid looked really good in some of the tape that I watched. So,
yeah. Maybe we should put, if you have anything, maybe we can put it in the description so people don't have to go looking for it. Let's drop it right in the description of this. You know, we can promote. It's not our video, but who cares, man? We're not here to do this for us. It's about the players that we bring on. Anybody who takes the time out to come and join us, we want to let them know that we appreciate them. So if we can get his film out there to somebody, you know, we're going to add his name in the tag. So if someone goes out there and they're searching for him, quarterback, rookie, they're going to find this video, and you never know if it could help and lead to something. So if you're out there and you're watching this, you want to see his film, look in our description. We'll put it in there at the end of this.
Yeah, I'll throw it right in the description. Just wanted to say a big shout out to CV. He dropped us $9.99. He said, "What's up, Niners brothers? Love your show and Rombo's show. I'm from the East Coast, NYC. You guys keep me updated. Keep doing what you're doing. Much love." So much love to you, CV. Appreciate you, man. We're also on the East Coast out here in Jersey, and well, Pennsylvania for Mike, but he's a Jersey boy. So yeah, but I wanted to say thanks to him as well. Blank Stare says just had to throw an Xbox grenade in there, didn't he?
He was perfect up until that point. He was perfect. He was flawless up until then, man. Oh man, he was winning me over. This guy had a good smile, man. I was like, holy shit, like this guy is impressive, man. Then he said Xbox.
And you're like, well, okay.
I didn't even have another question after that.
Wait. Don't you have both?
There's one in my house, but it's not mine. I bought one for my baby brother, and he leaves it over here. I don't play Xbox.
Yeah, I don't play Xbox either. I can't get used to the controllers. I've been playing PlayStation so long. My son plays Xbox, and I can't even play him.
Yeah,
I can't beat him.
And I'm so lost at it, man.
I can't beat him in Madden on Xbox, but he comes over here PS4 and I destroy him. And I'm not even that good.
Yeah, you and me both, man. Oh man. All right, man. Nick, man, this was a lot of fun. I don't know if you want to keep going or anything like that, but this was a lot of fun, man. And, a lot of good takeaways there. It's very interesting that he has the praise for Caden Smith, but he also had the praise for Tyree Mayfield, man. And Tyree Mayfield, that's the Wyoming tight end that he was talking about. He's a name that when I saw a couple of times when people heard that we picked him up on Twitter, they were really excited. They were like, "Oh, he's good. So I'm wondering if all right, maybe we got a three-headed monster there. You know what I mean? We got Kittle, Smith, and Mayfield. Like, is that And then he also obviously had the good things to say about Greenlaw. So it's good to see that Dre, the team is embracing that story. One thing that I'm not going to say it bothers me about that story, but what bothers me about that situation is that Greenlaw, he said a couple of times in different interviews that he doesn't want people to think of him and think of that story. He wants people to think of him and think of his play.
Football. Right.
So when we speak to him, or if we speak to him, I should say, I don't think I'm going to bring that up because I respect his decision. I respect those wishes. You know what I mean? I don't want a sob story. He even said that about why he doesn't talk about growing up in the foster care system and things like that. He doesn't want the pity or the sympathy. He wants people to remember him for who he is and what he's accomplished on the field. That's what he wants people to think about when they think about Dre Greenlaw, not the other stuff. So hearing that he was making plays and all that, but that the team, was rallying around him and listening to him, they're putting him out there. They're getting him used to talking to people. That he might be the new Mike. I don't know, man. I'm just saying. I don't know, man. I'm looking at it. You know how my brain works, Nick. I take stuff that no one's ever talking about, and I draw my own conclusions from it. The cogs are turning over here, man.
Yeah, he had said that. He said that Arkansas made that a thing about the way he grew up, and then he said, I don't want to be remembered for those type of things. I want to be remembered for my play on the football field. But it just shows the character. It shows the character of type of people that we're drafting or bringing in on this team. Good things. We saw it with the story about Coach Holland's son. We've seen it with Dre Greenlaw. We're establishing that culture. So, Gray Bush Solomon says he may be the Mike if Quan ain't ready to go. So, we got a little battle going over here or what?
We'll have to see, man. It's going to be really interesting, man.
I think Quan is ready to go, though. I think he is.
You think so?
I think he is.
Listen, man, I will say this about the whole ready to go thing. Richard Sherman was ready to go. And what did he just say this week?
That he was like 70%.
I was out there basically on one leg. To me, that's not ready to go. You're hurting the team, man. To me, that's my personal opinion. If you can't, you can give it your all, but if your all isn't good enough, just be a man. Hey, look, I shouldn't go out there. Someone else can go. Someone else can be better for us.
I mean, the coaching staff, that's something that upset me about last year, and I think that's what one of the things was about the strength and conditioning staff that was replaced. He could have been telling them I'm good, and them not really going into it and checking and playing these guys. And it could have been one of our issues last year. So I'm excited to see what happens with Sherman this year. Because he even said himself, I wasn't tested much last year. And hopefully he gets tested this year, and hopefully he is back to 100%. But I don't know if it'll happen.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that on our put up or shut up segment that we're going to be introducing to you guys, man. I'm telling you guys that Nothing But Niners crew, we are working hard to bring you guys some more entertainment. This is the dry time of the year for a lot of people, not for us. Expect more player interviews coming. This is the second player interview in less than a week. Expect more player interviews coming, and expect some new segments coming from us, guys. We're going to bring you guys some entertainment no matter what. I am on call this week, so we've been a little slower than we wanted to. Nick and I wanted to come to you guys just last night also. But we're going to make this thing work, man. And once it's on call, once I'm done on Sunday, here we come, man. We are coming, guys. I'm telling you.
What do they say? It's on like Donkey Kong?
That's what they say, man. That's what they say. Make sure you guys have those bells turned on. Get those notifications set, guys. You have to be subscribed. You are not going to want to miss what Nothing But Niners are bringing to you guys. Player interviews are coming, and we're just getting started. We're starting where we're starting for a reason. We're going to work our way up. We're starting with the undrafted guys and the undrafted rookie free agents and the tryouts guys, and we're going to work our way up to those that got drafted. If you've been following us for a while, you know that we had George Kittle on his rookie year and Adrian Colbert in his rookie year, and Eric Magnuson. It wasn't even his rookie year. I think he was a second-year player at that time. We've had guys. Trent Brown was our starting right tackle when we had him on. We're going to bring it to you guys. This is the time of year where we get into our player bag. We don't do it throughout the year because we choose to let those guys focus on football. But this time of the year, this is the place to be. If you guys haven't, go back and look for the folder. Look in the player interviews folder. They don't have nearly the views that they should have. They really don't. And it's because we didn't have a large following when we were doing it. We had maybe 300 or 400 followers when we were doing the player interviews when we first started. So we've come a long way, and I'm telling you guys, you're not going to want to. Trust me, check them out.
I think we're halfway to 6,000 already. We were 54 or 5,500. But the other thing is, make sure you guys check out the interview Mike did with Dr. Chow, because it was very informative. He is an old doctor who worked with the San Diego Chargers.
17 years. Yep.
Yeah, Los Angeles Chargers. But San Diego Chargers at the time. So make sure you guys check that interview out as well. Make sure, like Mike said, set that bell notifications. Check out our podcast as well. If you're listening on the podcast now, make sure you leave us a rating and a review. That really helps us out over there. It'd be much appreciated. I'm not telling you to give us 5 stars, but give us 5 stars. But you didn't hear that from me. But make sure you give us those 5 stars. Review over there on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play, wherever you listen to your podcast. If you have a podcast app like Mike does, what's it called, Mike? Podcast Bean or something like that?
Podcast Addict is what I use.
Podcast Addict. Yeah, check that out. Also, if you guys haven't checked out our man Eric Crocker, check out his newest podcast, Press Coverage Podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud. He's all over as well. Great insight. Former DB.
And that podcast is specifically about wide receivers and corners, not just on the Niners, but in the NFL in general.
In general. Yeah, so check out all of our fellow faithfuls on here on YouTube as well. C. McCarver Jr., Niner Faithful Radio, JD.
Rombo. Don't forget about Rombo, man. Rombo for us, man.
Yeah, Rombo. Check out all those other 49ers Avenues too, guys. We're not the only ones, but we're bringing the heat this offseason, as always.
That's right, man. Absolutely, man. All right, man. I'm ready to get up out of here. My wife wants to watch a movie. This is the earliest night I've been home all week. And if I don't watch a movie with my wife, she might stab me in my sleep, guys.
And I will never come over there again. I don't know. I might be safe. So.
All right, man. You ready to get up out of here, bro?
Let's do it.
It's a good one. I'm going to turn that Dr. Chow. For those of you who don't have time to watch this, go back and watch on YouTube. It will be a podcast later this evening. Give me about an hour or so. I should be finished editing it, and that will be up for you guys to listen to. The Dr. Chow thing was great. We talked on a lot of rookie players and their injuries. We talked about Jason Verrett to an extent, what he could. Richard Sherman, Kwan Alexander. We hit on a lot of them. McKinnon, not Breida, but the quarterback. Garoppolo, holy smokes! We talked about all the big injuries on the team and what he's from his personal expertise and things like that. Again, he didn't talk to any of those. He didn't talk to or work with any of those players except Verrett, so he couldn't go into that too much. But it's a lot of good information in there, guys. I promise you're not going to want to miss that one. That was a good one.
Yes, sir.
All right, prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain,
but always Remain faithful.
We out of here. Peace.